So the music industry is still in crisis because they're not planting any new trees. At least they're not planting the new trees at a rapid enough rate to replace the old ones that are going to die off pretty soon here. They don't have boatloads of new up-and-coming artist brands to replace today's superstars. And this is because they haven't adapted. They're not spending any money or time or energy trying to crack the code on how to break an artist digitally. That's what you and I are doing here. Okay, they're spending their money on what's making the money right now, which is streaming on Spotify and the streaming platforms. But artists aren't breaking on the streaming platforms. If they are, they're outliers. Okay, and know that about Spotify. We're going to get into that in another module, but it's not going to break you. You can make money there if you get in the right playlist. God bless you. But you still got other work to do to make it happen. The labels are blowing boatloads of cash, keeping radio on artificial life support, because that's what they know. That's where their relationships are. If radio goes away, then you got to go back to the drawing board as a publicly traded multi-billion-dollar company. That's a problem. And they're also buying catalogs of well-known artists to capitalize on the cash flow that's created from streaming on the big songs in the big catalog. So Bob Dylan, I think, has got $400 million for his catalog. Why is that happening? Because now with streaming, consumption creates revenue, and regular consumption creates regular dependable revenue, just like a share of stock from a company like General Electric or UPS or Amazon. Even if you own all the Bob Dylan CDs and you love Bob Dylan, it's just easier to stream it. And every time you stream it, you're generating revenue, right? So now these companies are focused on how to get a hold of those catalogs that will continue to make them money forever in the foreseeable future. What are they not spending their money on? Reinventing the marketing and promotional pipeline. So again, there's your opportunity. Who's to know what happens with labels here in the very near future? I think I know their roles with artists are going to change, and you need to be able to see that, to see the opportunity. And once again, the labels still don't know who their customer is. Hollywood does, right? Hollywood pulled all their titles from Netflix at one point, and now if you want to watch Friends, you've got to subscribe to NBC. If you've got kids, you're going to subscribe to Disney ABC, and so on and so forth. And so Hollywood knows who their customer is. They've got your email address. They've got your credit card. They know what you watch and what you don't watch, and so they can market to you intelligently, and they can manage the whole relationship. The record industry still doesn't know. Spotify shares consumption information with them, so they know how a single's doing and how many people skipped past it, how many people saved it, how many people streamed it. But they don't know that it's you, okay? And that's an issue. Who does know? The streaming service knows it's you, and the artist knows, right? You have a relationship with your fans directly through social media. I'll end this whole module by just talking about Jimmy Iovine here really quick. Jimmy Iovine is a record industry icon. He started out as he's retired now, but he's a titan. He started out as a music producer. He produced Damn the Torpedoes for Tom Petty, for crying out loud. He produced Stevie Nicks. He produced John Lennon. He produced Rattle and Hum for U2. Then he started Interscope Records, which is a huge label. That started Death Row Records, which is an Interscope company. I mean, that's one of the most successful record labels on the history of the planet. Jimmy Iovine was behind it. He's a brilliant businessman. Him and Dr. Dre created Beats, the headphones, and then sold it to Apple for $3 billion. So this guy knows what's going on. And he was asked in a New York Times interview in 2020, hey, we know you're retired, but what comments would you have to say if you're running a record label right now? What are you worried about? He's like, well, I'd be worried that we don't know who our customer is. When the streaming services know and the artists know, that's a frickin' problem. And he said this, I'm going to leave this module, I'm going to leave this with you on this module here, okay? He said, hail to the artists, your time has come. It's no longer the artist's problem to worry about making more money for the record label or for the streaming service. It's the streaming service's problem and the record label's problem to figure out how to add more value and better support the artist. And that was the end of the quote. Why is that? Because the artists own the traffic. And whoever owns the traffic rules the road. The traffic's going to follow the artist, not the label. The traffic's going to follow the artist, not the digital service provider. With that in mind, the next one that's coming up here, Curse of Knowledge. The curse of knowledge. Okay, so I'm going to hip you to one of the most common mistakes that businesses make. And yes, make no mistake, you're a business. And hopefully that's going to get you out of your own way there too. All right, we'll see you in the next module.